All right, degenerates, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going balls deep into the world of lignite.
Lignite!
Yeah, fucking lignite. That shit they call brown coal.
Oh, that crap.
I know, that just sounds boring as hell, but trust me, this crap's got a backstory that'll make you spit out your beer. So before you piss on my bonfire,
Hold on.
let's break this down. We've got a stack of Wikipedia articles here, and we need to figure out what the deal is with this lignite crap.
Well, lignite is the lowest rank of coal.
Lowest rank.
Yeah, it forms from peat.
Peat. What the hell is peat?
Decomposed plant matter, basically.
So like a giant pile of rotting leaves and shit?
Pretty much. It's got a lower carbon content than other types of coal.
How much lower?
About 25 to 35%.
That's it.
Well, it's still loaded with moisture when it's dug up.
Ah, so it's like soggy coal. No wonder it burns like shit.
You got it.
Oh.
So what do we do with this soggy-ass coal? Believe it or not, it's mostly used to generate electricity.
Electricity from that crap.
It's cheap to mine. You see, it's often found in thick layers near the surface.
So they don't have to dig too deep.
Exactly. Makes it a tempting fuel source, especially in countries where other energy resources are scarce.
Makes sense, I guess. So it's the bargain basement energy option.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. Burning this crap is like unleashing a goddamn environmental shitstorm.
Hold up. Are you saying this brown coal is worse for the planet than my ex-wife?
It's definitely up there. Burning lignite releases a shit ton of carbon dioxide and sulfur.
How much are we talking here?
Way more than other types of coal.
Seriously?
It's basically the Darth Vader of fossil fuels choking the planet with its fumes.
Fuck me, that's bleak. And it gets worse, right?
Burning lignite also releases heavy metals and radioactive materials.
Radioactive materials.
They end up in the coal fly ash.
Coal fly ash? What the hell is that?
It's basically the leftover crap from burning coal.
So we're burning this shit, polluting the air, and now we've got radioactive leftovers.
It's full of toxic shit that can contaminate water sources and soil, screw up ecosystems, and pose a serious risk to human health.
Jesus Christ, we're burning this shit, polluting the air and poisoning the water all at the same time. Humanity is fucked. So why the hell are we still using this crap? Shouldn't we be all over cleaner energy sources by now?
It's not that simple. Lignite is cheap and abundant,
There's that word again, cheap.
which makes it attractive to countries with limited energy options.
Like who?
Germany, for example, gets a good chunk of its electricity from lignite power plants.
Germany. Those tree-hugging, Birkenstock-wearing bastards are burning this shit? That's some serious hypocrisy right there.
It's complicated. They're trying to move away from lignite.
Well, good luck with that.
It's a slow process due to economic and political pressures.
Money talks bullshit, walks. But come on, there has to be a better way. What about all those other uses for lignite that Wikipedia mentioned?
There are a few alternative applications.
Like what?
For example, it can be used as a soil amendment in agriculture to improve soil structure and fertility.
So we're talking about using coal to grow our food. That sounds like some Frankenstein shit right there.
It's not as crazy as it sounds. Lignite can also be used in drilling mud to reduce fluid loss and even in jewelry.
Coal jewelry? What the fuck is that? A lump of coal on a string.
Not exactly. There's a type of lignite called jet that's been used as a gemstone for centuries.
Get out of here.
It's actually quite beautiful when polished.
Coal jewelry? Who knew? Maybe this lignite thing isn't as useless as I thought. But let's cut the crap and get back to the basics. How the hell does this stuff even form? Is it like dinosaur shit or something?
Not quite. Remember how we talked about peat? Well, when peat gets buried under layers of sediment over millions of years, the heat and pressure transform it into lignite.
So it's like a giant prehistoric compost heap that's been cooking for millennia?
Pretty much. Most lignite deposits are younger than other types of coal,
Younger.
having formed during the Tertiary period, which is relatively recent in geological time.
All right, so we've got this cheap, dirty fuel source that's bad for the planet and our health, but it's also got some potential for other uses. Sounds like a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. But understanding the science behind lignite, its benefits, and its drawbacks is the first step towards making informed decisions about its future.
Well said.
Welcome back, folks. We're knee-deep in this lignite shit, and it's about to get even messier.
That's what she said. So we've talked about how this crap forms and the environmental clusterfuck it causes when we burn it. But what about how they dig this shit up? Wikipedia mentioned something about mining.
Right. So remember how lignite is found in those thick layers near the surface? That means it's relatively easy to mine using a technique called strip mining.
Strip mining. Sounds kind of kinky. What do they strip?
Not what you're thinking? It's basically what it sounds like. They strip away the top layers of soil and rock.
To get to the good stuff.
Exactly, to get to the lignite seams.
So they're just tearing up the earth like a bunch of goddamn barbarians.
Pretty much. But there are regulations in place to minimize the damage.
Regulations. You think those greedy bastards care about regulations?
In the U.S., for example, mining companies have to restore the land after they're done.
Restore it? How the hell do you restore land that's been ripped apart like that?
They have to put the topsoil back, replant vegetation, and try to make it look like they were never even there.
Sounds like a load of bullshit to me. You can't just undo that kind of damage. It's like trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
You're not wrong. It's never a perfect restoration. Strip mining can still disrupt ecosystems, pollute water sources, and leave behind some nasty scars on the landscape.
So we're basically trading one environmental disaster for another. Speaking of trade, let's talk about who's playing this lignite game. Who are the biggest producers of this brown gold?
According to Wikipedia, Germany is actually the world's largest producer of lignite.
Germany. Seriously.
Followed by China, Russia, and the United States.
Germany. Those eco-warrior assholes are burning more of this crap than anyone else. What a bunch of hypocrites.
It's about energy security.
Energy security. More like energy hypocrisy.
They've been trying to reduce their reliance on nuclear power.
And lignite is the best they could come up with.
It's one of the domestic resources they've turned to.
Makes sense, I guess. But it still feels like they're trying to have their cake and eat it, too.
Yeah.
So we've got Germany, China, Russia, the U.S., all in on this lignite racket. What a mess.
Lignite is a global commodity, and its production and consumption have far-reaching consequences.
Well, that's a depressing thought. So we've got these massive lignite reserves scattered around the globe being dug up and burned for energy. Wikipedia mentions some specific examples, right? Anything particularly fucked up?
Absolutely. One interesting example is the Latrobe Valley in Victoria, Australia.
Australia. Those crazy bastards are always up to something. What's so special about this Latrobe Valley?
It's home to some of the thickest and most extensive lignite deposits in the world.
How thick are we talking?
The Latrobe Valley contains an estimated 65 billion tons of brown coal.
Holy shit. That's a lot of coal.
About a quarter of the world's known reserves.
Jesus Christ, they're sitting on a goddamn brown coal thrown down under. So what are they doing with all that lignite?
It plays a key role in Australia's energy mix. They've got several large power stations in the area that burn this coal to generate electricity.
So they're going all in on the brown stuff, down under. What about North America? Didn't Wikipedia mention some lignite deposits over here?
Yeah, North America has its fair share. The largest deposits are found along the Gulf Coast.
The Gulf Coast.
From Texas to Alabama, and in the Fort Union lignite field, which stretches from North Dakota to Saskatchewan.
So it's a coast-to-coast brown coal party.
Yep.
America, fuck yeah.
I wouldn't exactly celebrate. These lignite deposits are a significant source of energy for the U.S. and Canada, but they also come with a hefty environmental price tag.
Yeah, we've talked about the environmental shit show enough. Let's move on to something a little less depressing. What about the different types of lignite? Wikipedia mentions xyloid and compact lignite. What the hell is the difference?
They have distinct characteristics. Xyloid lignite, also known as fossil wood, still resembles the original wood it formed from.
Fossil wood. So it's like coal, it's still trying to be a tree.
It's often brown or black, and you can sometimes even see the grain of the wood.
That's kind of trippy.
Compact lignite, on the other hand, has been more thoroughly transformed by heat and pressure. It's denser, harder, and more uniform in appearance.
So it's like coal that's covered up on life and embraced the darkness.
Something like that. The key takeaway here is that lignite isn't just one thing. It comes in different forms, each with its own unique properties.
All right, I'm starting to see that this lignite thing is a bit more complex than I initially thought. It's dirty, it's abundant, it's controversial, and it's got me wondering what other surprises are lurking beneath the surface.
Well, we've only just scratched the surface of this topic. There's still much more to uncover, from the intricacies of lignite combustion to the ongoing debates surrounding its role in a sustainable energy future.
Sounds like we've got our work cut out for us. And we're back, you magnificent bastards.
Yeah.
Welcome to the grand finale of our lignite extravaganza. We've talked about how this shit forms, how we dig it up, and how it's fucking up the planet. Now it's time to look into the crystal ball and see what the future holds for this brown bastard. Expert speaker, lay it on me. What's the outlook for lignite in a world that's supposedly going green?
It's a mixed bag, to be honest.
How so?
Well, on one hand, there's increasing pressure to ditch fossil fuels like lignite because of the whole climate change shit show.
Yeah, But people aren't going to give up cheap energy that easily.
Exactly. So it's a tough situation.
So what's the plan? How do we kick our lignite addiction?
There are a few options.
Like what?
One is to go cold turkey and switch entirely to renewable energy sources.
Renewables. You mean like solar and wind?
Yeah, things like solar, wind, and hydro.
Sounds good in theory, but those renewables can be pretty unreliable. What happens when the sun's taking a nap and the wind's not blowing? We all sit in the dark and tell ghost stories.
That's a valid concern, and it's why a gradual transition is more likely. Another option is to develop technologies that capture and store the carbon dioxide emissions from lignite power plants.
Carbon capture. Sounds like some futuristic bullshit. Is that even a real thing?
It's still in its early stages, but there's been some progress.
So how does it work?
The idea is to trap the CO2 before it escapes into the atmosphere and then bury it deep underground.
Bury it underground. Sounds frisky.
Or use it for other industrial processes.
So we're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. Good fucking luck with that. Even if we manage to catch all that CO2, lignite still spews out a ton of other nasty pollutants when it burns. What about those?
You're right, CO2 isn't the only bad guy in this story. Lignite combustion also releases sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and a cocktail of other toxic shit.
So what can we do about that?
There are technologies to scrub these pollutants from the flue gases.
Scrub the pollutants.
But they're expensive and not always effective.
So we're spending a fortune to polish a turd. Let's cut to the chase. Is lignite destined to be the villain of the energy world?
Right.
Or is there a chance for redemption?
The future of lignite is hanging in the balance.
How so?
It's facing stiff competition from cleaner energy sources, stricter environmental regulations, and a growing public awareness of its negative impacts.
So it's on its way out.
Not necessarily. It's still a major player in many parts of the world, and its fate will ultimately depend on a complex interplay of economic, political, and technological factors.
So basically, it's a big goddamn mess with no easy answers.
Pretty much.
Well, folks, there you have it. The dirt on lignite. It's cheap, it's dirty, it's controversial, and it's probably going to be around for a while. Whether we like it or not, lignite is part of our energy story, and understanding its complexities is crucial if we want to navigate the challenges of a sustainable future. Thanks for tuning in to the deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and try not to blow up the planet. Peace out.